Coming back from the injury, what fight do you really want, or what fight you think gonna happen for you?
We going straight to Zepeda. We going straight to Zepeda. I want Zepeda.
Sit. I don't want to hear nothing else. Shakur Stevenson tells you what I've been telling you. The Tank Davis fight is not going to be happening next, or really even in the near future. In this video, I'm going to break it down and give you guys my thoughts. I'm also going to rub it in because I told you so and y'all didn't want to believe me. So let's get it. Now, the clip you seen at the beginning, Shakur Stevenson on social media, he went live with boxer Greg Hackett and they talked about a variety of different things. But in that brief clip that you guys seen, he talks about William Zepeda. He says, that's my next fight. That's what I want next. I don't want no tune-up. I want to come back off injury to that particular fight. And that's that. Now, I know what some of you guys are thinking. They're saying, oh, Ego, what do you mean? What does this got to do with Tank? I'm so glad you asked. And let me break it down for you. Shakur Stevenson has campaigned and stated that he wants to fight Gervonta Davis. I told you when he was still with Bob Arum in Top Rank, before the Artem Harutyunyan fight, his last and final fight with Top Rank, that Shakur is going to be a free agent. And if you look at those videos where I made saying that this was his last contracted fight, that he owed Top Rank, go look at those videos. They are still on the page. I don't delete the content. This is why I love my job, because people talk. Everybody, especially in this new society, everybody wants to be right. So you got a lot of hindsight experts. Everybody's an expert once something happens, like, oh, I knew Tim Tszyu was going to lose. But none of them are on record saying that Tim Tszyu was going to lose to the unknown fighter that he lost to, Murtazaev. But everybody's an expert after the fact. I don't do that here. The videos that I'm talking about in question, you guys could do a simple YouTube search and find the exact videos where I'm talking about, where I said all these things. The longtime listeners and subscribers of Boxing Ego can attest to this. In those videos, I told you, Shakur Stevenson is going to show me as a free agent. His next move will show me how bad do you want it? How much do you really want to fight Tank Davis? I predicted this moment and I said, if he signs with PBC, then that'll show me that, oh, this man is serious. He really wants the Tank fight. Not saying he'll get it straight away, but to me, that's the best chance you have to try to land that fight. You're not the A side. You, out of your own mouth, Shakur, has admitted that Tank is the face of boxing and the A side, and things have to happen on his watch. So why would you sign to Eddie Hearn, DAZN, Rematch Room, do a deal for Riyadh season in Turkey? That shows me right then and there, you don't want the fight, or at least, the very least, and this is being generous, you don't want the fight as badly as you are claiming you want the fight, because that doesn't make sense. If you want a burger, you go to a burger spot, right? You don't go to some kind of vegan restaurant if you have a craving for ground beef or steak, real steak, not plant-based, right? You wouldn't go to a vegan spot. If you get shot in the leg, you're not going to go to Walmart. You're going to go to the ER, right? You're not going to go to a dentist because you got shot in the leg. If you have a toothache, you wouldn't go to a gynecologist, and so on and so forth. So the fact that Shakur made the move he made and was going to fight Joe Cordina, pulls out with injury, and then now he's telling you his next fight is pretty much sewed up. There's a video you guys could find on social media, online, where Turkey and Eddie Hearn are previewing this fight card in February 2025, saying it's the best card that Riyadh season has done. And I fully expect Shakur Stevenson to be on that card. However, here's the thing. William Zepeda, I'm going to be real with y'all. The Riyadh season, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing in a lot of ways. For example, Shakur was supposed to fight Joe Cordina on Better Bivol Undisputed card. He gets hurt. Okay, whatever. You can't really control throwing a body shot that hurts you, whatever. So he's off. Then you put William Zepeda in on Latino night with Tevin Farmer. Like, Tevin Farmer is perhaps the worst style. And I'm not saying Zepeda can't beat Tevin Farmer. But what I am saying is that's not a sensible pick if you have plans to make a Shakur Stevenson fight. And I'll explain why. Because I'm the best in the business and it's not even close. For one, you could say that Tevin Farmer and Shakur Stevenson, they don't fight exactly alike at all. However, they have similarities, and I would say those similarities are more similarities than differences. Minimal power, limited power, good defense, and, looking to counter and things like that, right? So, first of all, why would you put William Zepeda, who's been on a tear, been knocking guys out, Hugo, or whatever his name is, Maxie Hughes and all these guys, he's knocking them out. Why would you put him in with a style that's remotely tricky if you had plans to bring him back months later and fight Shakur Stevenson? That just seems dumb to me. What you should do is perhaps do more of just a something like probably a tailor-made style for William Zepeda, so he gets the rounds in, gets the activity, likely gets a knockout, and then you put him in the bigger match. So this stuff doesn't make any sense to me. Same thing Riyadh season did with Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. They explored and talked about Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. Wilder was supposed to come back allegedly to fight Jared Big Baby Anderson. Why would you give him Zelle Zhang, a 300-pound Chinese southpaw with power and boxing ability, and Wilder be weighing like 215, and he was coming off a loss to Joseph Parker? This is just dumb. I'm just being real with you. That's not the type of fight that you would generally set up if you really wanted to make Wilder versus Joshua, and you wanted to make this Crawford Madrimov card with Wilder and Jared Anderson, right? Two American boxers in the heavyweight division. One past champion, and then one guy who people like Tyson Fury said has what it takes to be the new American champion, right? It just doesn't make sense. So it's the same thing with Zepeda. Yeah, I think it's a really weird move. If the goal is Shakur Stevenson, you don't want to max out the person before they get to the grandiose fight that you really want to make. Now, some people are going to say, oh, that's cherry picking, whatever. Those are the same people that haven't been in boxing as long as me. They don't make a dime in this game like me, and they're just talking. I'm telling you from experience, it's not about cherry picking, but if you have a big crescendo and something you want to work to, like a big event, you don't want to tax your person. It's not even just about the matchup being potentially bad. Also, the more difficult the fight, the more likelihood that a person looks bad, right? Like, what if William Zepeda wins, but he doesn't get a knockout and Tevin Farmer makes him look silly? Then the demand for a Shakur Stevenson fight is really not going to be that high. To increase the demand for the fight is you better hope William Zepeda knocks out Tevin Farmer, and Murataya just fought him, who has power and some skills, and he didn't knock him out. He did hurt him, but he didn't knock him out, and it was a competitive fight, right? So I don't really understand the matchmaking. It seems pretty foolish to me, because another thing that could happen is the tougher the fight, the more inclined someone could be to get an injury, right? In the fight, like a cut. You know, what if Tevin Farmer throws a punch on the eyebrow, cuts Zepeda? That could mess up plans for February. So that's why you don't want to overcommit and put someone in too tall of an order before they get to the bigger fight that you want them to participate in. This is how it's been in boxing. Doesn't make sense. But Shakur Stevenson, I am not convinced that he wants Tank at all, because I think he would move different. If you truly wanted to fight Tank Davis, you probably wouldn't be with Eddie Hearn. You wouldn't be working with Turkey. You wouldn't be on DAZN. You would be right there on PBC. And now he's already telling you, basically his fight is, it sounds like a done deal. Pending his injury and pending Zepeda beating Tevin Farmer, it sounds like he's slotted to come back in February. So all of the Tank haters, there's a lot of content creators who don't like Tank. They kept blaming Tank. Oh, why is he fighting Lamont Roach and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. Shakur Stevenson is the name that most Tank haters are using. At one point it was Devin Haney, but he got bludgeoned by Ryan Garcia with that left hook, a guy Tank beat easily and knocked out. So Devin Haney kind of fell off as the main talking point of who the fans want Tank to fight. And then it became Shakur Stevenson, and people try to throw Shakur Stevenson. My question to you is, one, if you're mad at the Lamont Roach fight, how can Tank have fought Shakur if he threw a body shot and hurt himself and he can't fight anyone for the remainder of the year? Furthermore, it sounds like he has a February fight and he's telling you he's coming straight back to Zepeda. He didn't say, I want to come back and see if I can fight Tank. He's saying, I want Zepeda. So to me, that stipulates that there's a likelihood that if all goes well with his injury and Zepeda winning versus Tevin Farmer in his upcoming fight, then they're going to make that particular fight, which also infers that Shakur doesn't really want to fight Tank Davis, period. Which also subsequently means you can't blame Gervonta Davis for the fact that he can't get some of these names. And if you have a better way to explain it, which I know you don't, please leave me a comment and explain how that makes sense. Shakur signing with Eddie Hearn, going away from PBC and Al Heyman, where the A-side Tank Davis is, and then having an injury. And then on top of that, you have your next fight booked up for likely February 2025 against Zepeda, and that's the name you're calling for. So you don't really want to fight Tank. You might want to fight him in the future, but you don't really want to fight him now. A man got to be congruent with what he says. If Boxing Ego says he wants a slice of pizza, best believe I'm going to get my slice of pizza. I have the means to do it. I have a vehicle to do it. It happens. I don't say I'm going to get a slice of pizza and then go get sushi or Chinese food, right? I don't settle. If I want pizza and there's a pizza place that I like, it's within my means, I go get that. So you can't tell me you want Tank and then settle for Zepeda and whoever else Riyadh season or matchroom, rematch room, throws at you. That's the opposite of wanting Tank. So shout out to Tank.